You know how people keep a bowl with them to put garbage in while they're cooking? Well, I also have one for mirepoix or Italian sofrito. And then the last few weeks I've been keeping one for garlic skin so that I can make my own garlic powder. I'm adding a mixture of water and vinegar to get rid of the spores and anything else that might be on there. But you can see here that I have not used enough, so I'm going to add more water and much more vinegar. The nice thing about knowing chemistry is you're able to calculate how much vinegar you need when you know the molarity and molality of the substances that are involved. So I let this sit for about half an hour or so. Then I drained it and rinsed it. And that is a jar of tahina. I was told that I could crisp them up in the microwave or in the oven, but after half an hour, this was not working. So I switched over to the oven since that was just going to use less utilities. I know, all that space for just a bunch of garlic skins, and it would still use less utilities than using the microwave. Anyone want to guess how long this took in the oven? Because I was working on this for like 3 hours. Is it just our version of this, or is it all of them that don't work the way that they do on the infomercial? You're gonna say, Marnie, it's because you didn't let the garlic skins cool. It's the condensation. Yes, that's a part of it, but also, it just doesn't work. I learned about the condensation part from the Vitamix. This is the original Vitamix bowl blender thingy, and then I switch over to the one that's meant for flour later. But don't do what I do and let your garlic skins cool down. Don't rush it to try and do this in time for a TikTok, because then you'll end up having to let it sit for 2 weeks. Oh wait, it was just 1 week. And this is about the time where I'm ready to give up, but then I went, no, I'll just dry it off in the oven, put it back in. So that's what I did. Scoopy, scoopy. So this is me before I realized that I didn't need the tamper and I should be doing something different than what I was doing, different from what I was doing. I think it's the grammar that's gonna get the least amount of people upset. So I have the tamper that I'm using and it's not working. It was so fibrous. I don't know if it's just the purple garlic that I use that's fibrous or if it was not working. I was like, what am I gonna do? Because I don't want like long stringy bits of stuff in my food when I'm using garlic powder. Because I'm using garlic powder for things like crabbless rangoon. I want a really smooth and creamy texture for that. This is what I blended, and then that on the foil is the before, the blender is the after. Then after I read in the manual that the way to make whole grain flour in this attachment is to blend on the high for a minute, I was like, fine, I'll start with 30 seconds and go from there, and it worked. So I did that for a few rounds and then decided to sift it here. Double sifting, of course. Did I double sift it? I guess I'll find out as I watch it with you. So here's the double sift part. I did double sift it, but I think I sifted it more than twice. So I'm putting it back into the blender. It was so fibrous. It was so fibrous. The amount that I was getting through the sifts just wasn't what I was looking for, so I was like, fine, I'll blend it again. And I blended it for another like minute and a half. And now we're gonna sift it again. At first I did this just to show the texture of what it is, but then I was like, wait a minute, this is a soup skimmer. I could really get some fine powder out of this if I just shake it. But then it was such a fine sieve that I wasn't getting anything through, and the stuff that I was getting through was so powdery that it would float up into the air like flour does. So I thought, okay, I'll just grind it by hand. TLDR, it was flavorless. Make it from actual garlic.
So much garlic
That's what
powder
I'm gonna
in
do
mine.
next time. 5 hours of work, 5 tablespoons of powder.